Appreciate that. Okay, I have no other blue slips. Anyone in the audience want to talk to us on this final draft Delta plan? Anyone like to speak to us? Okay. Council members, questions? Questions, comments? Don.
Yeah, very quick, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of quick things. One, is there an exhibit that just shows the legal or statutory delta, the primary and secondary zone, just a simple exhibit? Is there one that does that? I mean, there's all these combinations. You got lots of good exhibits. And if not, I thought it might be good either to, as you talk about the governance, oversight requirements, I don't know if there's one exhibit that just shows those three things simply. Well, there's
I'm looking at figure 1.3 as a start. That's the statutory delta, and it also includes the Suisun Marsh.
Right.
Page 21.
Page 21. But I don't recall if the secondary. There's so much in so many of these maps, I can't recall.
I know there
anymore.
is. I was thought maybe just a simple map again, because we've done iterations. I think the layered maps are good. I'm just maybe offer a suggestion. If somebody was looking either in your glossary or for an exhibit that showed Suisun Marsh and legal delta, secondary and primary zones, just if they wanted to take a look at see what those were without all the other things that we had on the maps.
Well, I noticed Mr. Ray is shaking his head yes. Let them do two things.
I don't know. We've had other requests too, where people are still asking to make sure we point out where Steamboat Slough is, and we've got a few other things that we'll need to follow up on, so we'll have a chance to take care of that for you.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't trying to drill down too far.
Yeah.
It seemed because we've got maps that are good, your exhibits, and I think that the one that Randy and Phil pointed to has, I guess you can decipher out of there. It might be good as we talk about either jurisdictional aspects and or just if people wanted to know where those are at. The other one was just a typo on figure 2.1 in Appendix L.
Appendix L,
Yeah, this is a typo.
the Delta Dredge Sediment Long-Term Management Strategy.
And I don't know if that's even...
No, Appendix K is what you wanted? The maps of communities?
No, it's Appendix L. It's
Okay.
just that exhibit on Appendix L. It's just a typo. There's on, again, I don't know if this is even our exhibit, but where it has the...
What
says
page are you on, Don?
Figure 2.1
Figure 2.1.
in Appendix L.
Got it.
Flat.
Okay, members, this is on, there's an insert document. It's
Yeah.
between pages 14 and 16.
And it's just in the legend. It says counties and it says local, and you're missing where it says districts. It's just a typo.
Mm-hmm. Oh, got it.
Okay. All right. And then my last comment is just, again, I want to the kudos have been offered this morning. I think an outstanding job and compiling and all the various references, cross references, and the continued refinement, and it's I think exemplary work. And I wanted to note in particular, I know we talked about this at one of our last meetings, but I think having right up front Delta plan and policies and recommendations, so someone can turn to that. I think the organizational aspects of this reflect certainly good staff work. I think obviously input from members of the public and this council, but I just found that extremely helpful. I know that when we went to the briefing yesterday that you can turn right to that and see, again, what ultimately, however those do shake out, will be the recommendations and policies and regulations. And I think, again, it's all the substance behind that refers to this. But I just can't compliment you enough about how you've organized this. So anyway, that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Other questions come? Ms. Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I first wanted to start off with the comments that we heard today. Well, first let me start out by saying thank you to Joe and your staff, Dan, Jessica, Cindy, everyone, Martha, because what I heard from one of the speakers today, which I think really reflects a very positiveness about the plan. I think I heard from Mr. Mill, who said we kind of like the plan, which to me tells me that we certainly have been engaged. The council has been engaged. The staff has certainly done a yeoman's job in terms of trying to put language to what our thoughts are. But I think the plan really has transparency, and that is really important as we move forward, because it's not just our plan. It really is the stakeholders' plan, and I think that's what we've tried to convey to the public. And just the fact that there were only a few people who came up here today based on a year and a half ago when there were many folks at the podium and many comments, and just the fact that I think Mr. Zotnik only had about 8 comments to make, which
A historically low record.
Which is very good, because Greg is has been very involved, as well as Mr. Ritz and everyone else here in the audience, in the public. I know yesterday, I think I talked to Joe and shared some of the comments that were made made here today, and I think Joe made an effort, and Dan and so forth, to try to incorporate those comments without changing the text or the tone of the plan. I know there are still some real issues, maybe 1 or 2 that is kind of a hot button issue. I know covered action is something that will be talked about and certainly continue to be talked about around the table. But today, I know the council is here to consider the final draft plan, and so the staff has moved things forward, and now we're here to consider our plan, if you will. And I think it's a good start. It's not a perfect plan, but I think it's a good faith effort, and I think the process needs to move along. So with that, I just want to congratulate the staff and even my council members and the public for being a part of this plan, because this plan will really lay out water policy for the whole state. And so I think we've done a good job, and the public has done a great job with providing input and making sure that we hear from stakeholders, the ones who will actually have to live with this plan. And we've had different agencies before the council at different times to really provide their input. And moving forward with the implementation committee and also the stakeholders having an opportunity to be a part of that will be very important as we move forward with a final plan. So I just want to say thank you to Joe and the staff, and thank you to the stakeholders and my council members. Again, I think I heard more positiveness around the table, from the public today, and to me that means that we've done a good job, we've been transparent, and as I said, it's not perfect, and we will still be engaged with certain issues that we need to be engaged with. And so this is not the final opportunity for input, and I think it's important for the public to know. So thank you.
Okay. Comments, questions, Pat? Okay. All right. I agree. Good job putting this together. I'm almost tempted to tell war stories from the staff's interchange when a day goes by and say, well, we think we've got this chapter done, and then zing, there's a 17-page comment from the science team that raises new issues. So everybody's screaming for a couple of hours, and then finally we parachute Randy in to establish a peaceful atmosphere on all of that. I mean, it's like all big projects in my experience are exactly the same way. There are vast periods of reflection and orderly thought, and then there are short...
Mr. Chairman, who lands Randy's plane?
Autopilot. It's on, he has programmed his computer to fly the entire plane. He didn't have to do anything at all. Yeah. Anyway, so I'd just like to thank you all. And for, yeah.
You know, I did want to forget the role of science. Thank you so much for your involvement in moving forward with what we do. So I just wanted to acknowledge.
Is this where you're going to make the requirement that to be an official scientist you have to wear a scientist's uniform during deliberations? Is that, Gloria, is that what you're going to... I'd just like to thank everybody also on this. We have a ways to go, and we are not adopting the Delta plan yet, but we are certainly, I hope, putting it in shape where the public, it's as understandable as a complex document can be and honors the statutory mandates to us, and reflects a ton of work by very dedicated staff, which we appreciate a lot. And Mr. Grindstaff, although you are retiring at the end of the month, you leave behind a legacy, and a good slug of it is represented by this Delta plan, and congratulations.
Thank you. This will be my last opportunity probably to talk about the Delta plan, and so I want to thank staff, many of whom have worked incredible hours under great stress, and I want to say that if I named everybody, I would forget someone. So all of you that have worked on it, and many of you aren't here in this room, some of them are not, are no longer with the council, but they did incredible work. I want to thank you, the council, who's put up with, I don't know how many special meetings that have gone on and on and on and listened and given direction and had patience and read through these documents. I mean, that's a lot of work, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you
Good.
all. And thank you to the stakeholders, too,
Yeah.
even though I was irritated sometimes. I
Really?
really appreciate it.
Huh.
I do appreciate it.
Okay. All right.